It's Mr. James at Charm City Karate. I'm here to talk to you guys about training. There's an old adage that says you're going to fight the way you train. And it's very true. I've seen it over and over again. I'm sure you guys have too, because I'm assuming everybody that watches this is involved in fighting or fight sports in some sort of way, or is at least interested in those. And what I want to get to is that since you're going to fight the way you train, you want to be sure that you are training the way you want to fight. What I mean by that is, if you're going to be fighting in a ring, like a mixed martial artist, then when you're training, you want to be wearing the gear that you're going to fight in. And in fact, most of these guys do. You'll notice that when they're training, they're wearing gloves, they're wearing fight shorts. They're wearing the same kind of gear that they're going to be wearing when they compete, mouth guards, cups, all that kind of thing. Now sometimes if they're going to spar hard, they'll wear heavier gloves or heavier headgear and that sort of thing, shin pads, because you don't want to get injured when you're training. That's just stupid. You want to take good precautions when you're training. You save getting hurt for when you have to fight. But if you are training for self-defense, then you want to practice, you want to train for fighting the way you're going to have to fight. And what I mean is that most martial artists, myself included, train in traditional martial arts style. They tend to wear traditional martial arts uniforms, and they tend to be barefoot. And they don't have any of the standard clothes that people wear in real life. So there are a lot of advantages given by traditional martial arts clothing. Martial arts clothing is very loose-fitting. It's designed to move well. Raglan sleeves and sleeves where the shoulders descend halfway down allow a lot of free movement of the arms. The way the pants are cut on karate pants, you can kick real high without having to worry about tearing them or putting undue stress on the groin. They've got that big diamond gusset in the groin. When you're barefoot, your toes can grip the mat. Typically you're training on some sort of a surface that allows a lot of grip. It's not a slick surface. You're not training on a linoleum floor or wet asphalt. So your training environment also tends to be clear of clutter, clean, dry, warm. Okay, so you get a lot of advantages where you're training. And for the most part, this makes sense. Okay, I'm not saying that you should go out and train in a hailstorm or anything like that. But it does make sense to supplement that training with some realistic training. Okay, you should, from time to time, at the very least, train in your normal daily wear. If you've never done it before, you will find rather quickly that wearing the same clothes that you wear to work is very different to fight in, or to even practice your normal martial arts moves. Put on your daily wear, the stuff you would wear to work, and try to do your forms, your self-defense techniques. Move around by yourself. I'm betting you're going to find very different feeling and very different range of motion. Some of your clothing is going to be more restrictive in ways you might not have thought of. Some of it's going to pull or twist. If you have to wear dress shoes to work, they're going to tend to be a lot more slippery. Maybe you're not going to want to do kicks. Maybe you're going to want to work on keeping both of your feet on the ground. Maybe you carry a briefcase to work every day, in which case one of your hands is constantly encumbered. Now, I'm not saying you can't just drop your briefcase, but maybe is a high value briefcase. Maybe there's stuff in there that you cannot just discard when you're attacked. In which case, maybe you want to think of that briefcase as a weapon, something that you could be using if you get attacked. All right, these are things for you to consider. They are not things for you to try and consider when you get attacked. They're things for you to consider ahead of time. Okay? If you plan ahead, then the moment of stress is not a moment of dire emergency. Okay? It's a moment of action. If you wait until you get attacked to put any of this into action, then all of a sudden it's a huge deal and you're going to break down and you're going to lose. All right? Plan ahead. If you study Taekwondo and you're female and you like to wear skirts a lot, you might run into a bit of a problem all of a sudden. Okay? Maybe you're not modest and you don't care about doing high kicks in a skirt. Maybe you do. Okay? Maybe you don't care about kicking off your 3-inch heels to kick somebody in the face. Maybe you can't get your heels off that fast. These are things that you need to find out ahead of time, not to be trying to figure out when some guy's grabbing you by the hair trying to drag you down an alley. Okay? Now, here's another thing. Once you've done this a couple of times, you will become more comfortable with the changes that you have to make to fight in your normal wear. And then your confidence level will increase. You'll become accustomed to it and you won't worry. That's a good thing. Just like when you buy a new car and you're a little disoriented for the first couple of weeks and then you get used to it again. It's cool. All right. So, here's another question for you. Do you like to drink? I'm not making a personal judgment. I don't care. But if you like to go out and have a few beers or have a few cocktails and you like to catch a buzz, then that's something else you got to consider. If you like to drink, you like to catch a little bit of a buzz, or maybe you're more of a recreational drinker than that. Maybe you like to get drunk. I don't care. That's up to you. If you do that, you need to practice in that state as well. You need to know what it feels like when you attempt to do your martial art in that altered state. You will find a whole different universe, all right? Back when I was in my early 20s and I was practicing martial arts, a very intelligent and generous man named Mark McYoung was writing books. I devoured every book he came out with. And he gave me this idea that I needed to practice my martial arts drunk if I was a drinker. At the time, I thought this was a great idea. So some friends and I got together, had a few drinks, which is what we did back then, and we tried it out. A whole different world. Let me tell you, martial arts after a few drinks is crazy. Your timing is off, your distance perception is off, your balance, everything is off. But after a few times of doing it, you will be able to make the adjustments. You've got to do it a couple of times to get the adjustments. It is not something you'll be able to do on the fly. You won't be able to think, oh well, I know there's some adjustments I'll have to make, I'll do it then. It's not going to be something you can do in the fight. You're going to have to practice it. You can't read a book about karate, think you know it, go out and do karate. You got to do karate to get karate. Same thing with this. You're going to have to practice it to get it. Same thing if you like to do other drugs. Okay? If you like to get high, and again, I don't, but if you do, I'm not making a judgment. If you do, you're going to need to practice your martial arts like that to see how it's different. What adjustments are you going to need to make? Are you even able to do martial arts like that? If you can't do your art in that state, then you need to adjust when you do those things so that you don't need your martial art when you do those things. Do you stay up late a lot? Or do you go out carousing to all hours? It's a good idea to practice your martial art in a sleep-deprived state. Keep yourself up till 2 or 3 in the morning once, watching old stupid movies or something like that. Watch the Jackie Chan marathon. And then try to practice your martial art when you're really sleep deprived. It's going to change things. You're going to feel a little muddled, a little stupid. Your timing's going to be off. It's going to be kind of weird. But again, you won't always have a choice of when you're going to have to use your martial arts for self-defense. It's a good idea to practice when you're in these weird states so that you know what it's like when you have to do it. All right? You're going to fight the way you train, so train the way you might have to fight. Okay? Have you ever practiced your martial art in the rain? It sucks. Try it. Practice it in the snow. That sucks too. Let me tell you, I live in Baltimore. We get ice storms. Okay? Not as much snow as I would like, but we get ice. Thick sheets of ice on the sidewalks. That'll take you out of wanting to kick people in the head any day. And kicking people in the head is fun. 2 ice storms, you don't try to kick people in the head anymore because all you do is fall down and break a hip. So, I'm not saying you never kick people in the head, but you don't do it in an ice storm. You need to practice your martial arts in bad weather, nice weather, heavy clothing, light clothing, all the different ways that you might find yourself having to fight. You got to practice, train the way you're going to fight, because you're definitely going to fight the way you train. I'm Mr. James from Charm City Karate. Have a great day.